Welcome to the Epcotian Adventure,
a podcast where we talk about all things Disney, but we're Epcot-centered.
including tips and tricks, festivals and favorites, and the very latest in our rankings and reviews.
But we're still old enough to remember when they'd announced a second park for Disney World.
This is episode 163, the D23 2026 Huge Disney Park Updates. Here they come, folks.
Or, well, we were kind of kidding, but holy moly, it really is Figment's year.
I love it. So now, please remain seated, keeping your hands, arms, feet, and legs inside the convention center as we embark on our Epcotian adventure.
We call it Epcot.
Howdy, folks, and welcome to episode 163 of the Epcotian Adventure. I'm Rod.
And I'm Sue.
And it's finally happened. D23 has now been put into the books. It is over, and we're going to talk about the Parks and Experiences event that took place at the Honda Center in Anaheim. And wow. We were joking, well, half joking, because we never thought it really would happen. But it is Figment's year.
It really is.
I can't believe it.
Now, we're going to talk about some of the highlights, some of the things that meant the most to us. Obviously, we're not going to hit everything, but we're going to try and zoom through a couple of our favorite things that happened. As a general rule, this was much more a year about updates and details, which is kind of what we had expected going in. They can't make huge park announcements every single year. It's not feasible. So the announcements that they made, I think, were fitting. I think the stuff that we've been waiting on, a lot of it was a lot vaguer than we were hoping for. A lot more vague. Is vaguer a word? Vegas?
It's more Vegas, yes. Yeah. Definitely, it was very Vegas.
It was Vegas.
Neil Patrick Harris did a stellar job in that role of host.
I loved
therefore,
that.
It was very Vegas.
We're fans of NPH in general, so to see him host D23 was very exciting. I thought it was great. As far as all the guest stars that appeared, I didn't know who most of them were.
Because we're old.
Because we're old.
Yay!
But it was still fun. Loved the opening number. This is not what we're talking about. This is just sort of my own rant here. Not rant, but side bunny trail? Bunny trail. Tangent.
Rabbit hole.
Pick your analogy here. But I loved the opening number. That was so much fun. If you haven't seen it and you didn't watch the live stream, just go on YouTube and find the opening number because it was a kick. It was so cute.
So if you're familiar with our podcast, this is a follow-up to episode 161 where we did the D23 rumors. We're going to talk about some of the things we got wrong, some of the things we got right, some of the things that we think Disney got wrong and right, and things we still hoped were happening, but they didn't say anything about. So let's dive right in and look at the number one thing in our list.
Hang on. Before we go right in.
What's that?
Can we just take a second to appreciate that the live band on stage was called the Phoenicians?
Oh my gosh, yes!
And we started by thanking the Phoenicians.
That was epic.
Because
Yes.
that kind of tickled our Epcotian hearts right off the bat. So bonus points for that. But now we'll dive right in.
Okay, well, we're not going very far because we are going across Epcot to Imagineering. This is something that you've been hearing us talk about and other Disney podcasters and bloggers talk about for decades, that please bring back Dreamfinder. Well, the very end of the show last night, Neil Patrick Harris came out dressed as Dreamfinder, and they did confirm that, yes, Dreamfinder is coming back to a version 4 of Journey into Imagination.
They did not mention a film, which was interesting because we have heard that rumored, and that was sort of going to be the impetus for bringing back Dreamfinder, but they're kind of announced that in the other order now because they have officially said Dreamfinder is coming back to the attraction. I am so excited. If you are not old like us and you don't remember the original attraction, you probably wonder why Figment is a thing, because the current attraction does not showcase him in his best light. Originally, he was playful and he was imaginative and he was creative and, yes, mischievous, but not to the point of skunk farts.
No,
So-
he was more optimism than mischievous back then. He was a new creation of Dreamfinder, so he was discovering everything.
It was more curiosity than chaos. So he wanted to discover all the things. That's the key right there. Yes, you nailed it right on the head. Yeah, so we are beyond excited for this. And yes, it's extremely vague. There is no timeline. There is no artist rendering. There's no anything. But just that announcement was enough to ignite our fire. So excited.
So back to the main thing that is Epcot. The thing that makes Epcot Epcotian, Spaceship Earth. They did announce that they are going to go ahead with the update to Spaceship Earth. The icon has been getting old. Like us. I went to bed last night and my back hurt. I'm sure that giant sphere is probably hurting in a few places. You can hear it every time you go through the attraction. It shouldn't be that loud for that slow of a ride. So it'll be nice for them to retrack it. They're going to be changing the storyline to not be what we initially thought, which was going to be the history of storytelling. Instead, it's going to be the history of human connection. It's a very vague concept. And so it's going to be interesting to see how storytelling plays a part in that, how communication still plays a part in that. I'm really looking forward to seeing what they do and to see who is going to replace Dame Judi Dench.
Or if they're going to use her again.
That's true.
She is iconic to that attraction now. But so was Jeremy Irons before her. So was Walter Cronkite. Like, they've all had their moment. But I'm curious to see who they'll go with. Do you have any predictions? I'm just curious.
Morgan Freeman.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah, I think he's the big voice right now.
I would love that. I think that would be amazing. I don't know who they're going to go with. I love Dame Judi. I don't know. I don't know. As we get closer and we get a little bit more into it, I'll think about it, and we'll probably do a whole episode on predictions of what the new one will be now that we know what the theme is. Moving on to number 3 on our list, and we're not going in any order except for our favorite things. So
Yeah.
that is the general
Literally.
order. So number 3 on our list. Holy moly, you guys. This, I think, got the biggest reaction of the night. If you didn't see it live, just trust us. The reaction was huge because they are bringing the Yeti back to life. They are bringing the Yeti back from Expedition Everest. She's going to move again. She's going to be a thing. They did not get specific on it. They didn't say if they found a way to repair the current animatronic, which was literally bringing down the mountain. I don't know. We had speculated early on that maybe they could just fix the arm so that the reaching motion was back in place. But somebody did suggest, and I don't know whose vlog it was, I'm so sorry, but somebody did suggest that now they have the technology because of what they've done with specifically the marshmallow figure from some of the newer Frozen attractions, that the technology that they're using there could bring us a whole new Betty the Yeti. And it was really fun that they celebrated and embraced Disco Yeti one last time and had Gloria Gaynor even come out and sing. That was really fun.
Epic.
But that was kind of a fun moment. But actually having them embrace the Disco Yeti nickname was kind of fun. But oh my gosh, so excited they're bringing that Yeti back to life.
Well, the last of the things that are new that they announced this year is Disneyland Resort is getting a refreshed Tomorrowland. This was right at the very end, and so we don't know anything about this. Other than that, Tomorrowland is going to get refreshed, more open spaces is what they said. My thought is maybe taking out the old People Mover track, maybe taking down the old Carousel Theater building, taking down the old Captain EO Theater, and just opening it up, making it more park-like. Sue, do you have any thoughts on what you think might go into Tomorrowland at Disneyland?
My biggest thing for this is I'm excited to have those open spaces because I think that means that they are finally going to move Astro Orbiter out of the walkway. What in the world is it doing there? So I'm hoping that's what they mean by more open spaces, and they're either going to get rid of it entirely. We do not need it, period. But if they are going to keep it, to move it back up like Astro Orbiter is at Disney World at Magic Kingdom. So I don't know. I'm most excited about that. The whole thing, we did a whole episode about Tomorrowland. they need to either bring back People Mover or get rid of the track. They need to either update the carousel building and make it usable again, or get rid of it and open up that space. I love that Autopia there is bigger and better than the one at Magic Kingdom, but honestly, shrink it back down and get it out of Tomorrowland.
Right.
It has nothing to do with Tomorrowland. So anyway, those are my hopes and dreams for the update there. Rod, did you have any hopes and dreams for Tomorrowland?
Well, other than bringing in some new attractions, I don't think Space Mountain is going to be on the docket because it's still relatively new and is the better, I think, of the Space Mountain designs that are out there.
By far.
I am excited that maybe Space Mountain in Florida could get some love. They didn't announce that this time. We really thought that was going to happen, but it never happened. And we do know that Space Mountain in Tokyo is getting a whole big update, like a complete teardown and rebuild.
And they even named it.
Yeah, Space Mountain Earthrise. I love that name. And then we also heard, finally, that Disneyland Paris' Space Mountain is going to be getting back to its roots. And it's going to be called, I'm going to let you say this, Sue, because I never get it right.
De la Terre à la Lune.
From Here to the Moon. I love that.
Which I guess was the name of the original Jules Verne novel that it was based on, too, which I did not realize. I knew it was Jules Verne inspired. I didn't realize that was actually the name of the novel, so that's kind of cool.
All right, so that's all of the new announcements that happened last night. Let's talk about things that we already know that are happening. Most of these were announced in the 2024 D23. So let's go ahead and talk about those projects that are underway that we heard a lot more about last night. At Disney World, that's Monstropolis over at Disney Hollywood Studios. This is going to open in stages, they said. So the Globe Theater, Harryhausen's, the new pizza restaurant, which we finally got a name for, which is Archie's Scare Pig Pizza. That's a hard one to say. It's named after the mascot of Fear Tech from Monsters University. And that'll be taking the place of Pizza Rizzo. And
so still puffy pizza, probably. But,
scary puffy pizza.
Yeah. It's always been scary. But we now know that there's the show going into the Glob is going to be Welcome to Monstropolis with a brand new song written by Randy Newman, his first song written specifically for a theme park, so that's very cool.
I love that. He's the one who wrote, of course, Friend and Me from Toy Story, and I think it's fitting that he's doing this.
I think it'll be fun.
I think it's great.
And I love the music from Monstropolis or from Monsters, Inc. already. I love that music, so it'll be fun to see this as a show. It looks like it's going to be like a play within a play kind of thing, where Mike and Sully have gathered all the monsters to put on a show to welcome the humans visiting Monstropolis, and I just think that's adorable. So I'm excited about this. I think it'll be really fun.
And this is opening next year, 2027. Now, the coaster won't open until at least 2028 or later because it's still under construction and it is a prototype. So it's going to be something that they're going to work on for a while to make sure they get it right.
And when it opens, there will be a lot of downtime.
Yeah.
But we're excited. And they also announced, I don't know exactly what it is. Rod, what was it called?
It was called the Monsters University Alumni Club. I think it's going to be a lounge.
I hope it's going to be a lounge. They didn't say what it was. They just kind of ran past the name and went by. But I had said earlier that I was hoping Monstropolis was going to bring in a lounge to us. And maybe this is it. I don't know. I'm excited. That coaster, though, just the little rendering that we saw, computer rendering, where you're loading and then being hoisted 40 feet into the air. That's going to be pretty cool. If that's happening in the load zone, how often do you hear screaming in the load zone?
I can't wait. That's going to be so much fun.
Oh, I'm looking forward to that. Next up, while we are talking about things that we already know are coming, but we got some details about, Tropical Americas. So, of course, we know that this is going to contain an Encanto ride, the carousel, and Indiana Jones, but we did get some details, and I did get to hear Indiana Jones and so I was very excited. We now know that it is going to be called Indiana Jones and the Myth of the Jade Serpent. So again, poor Indy has to deal with snakes. Oh man. But we do know that we are going to be pulled through a magical portal into a Mayan temple, and we are going to be confronted with the mythical Jade Serpent who protects it.
Now, here's something that is interesting, is when I opened Indiana Jones and the Temple of the Forbidden Eye at Disneyland as a cast member, Harrison Ford was not the model they used for the animatronic because of licensing issues. he is going to be the model for this attraction. So Indiana Jones will look like Harrison Ford from here on out.
Hooray!
Which makes me think that Tokyo and California are probably going to get updated animatronics. They didn't announce that, but I bet they do.
That would be so cool. We also got to see that the Encanto ride is going to be called Antonio's Fiesta de Encanto, and that we actually will get to go into Casita. So excited about that. And we got to see the ride vehicles, and they are going to be comprised of different components that Casita has assembled from her own being to let us take a tour. So one of them had like a cabinet and some benches, and one of them had tables and a piano. Like, it's just sort of all hodgepodge put together of different furniture pieces that you get to ride through on this adventure. And I'm excited. I'm actually a little surprised that they went ahead and put Antonio's name.
Yeah, as opposed to just Fiesta de Encanto.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting. Even though we know that the plot of the story for the ride is going to be him getting his gift, it still surprised me that they put his name in the title of the attraction. I thought that was interesting.
Now, there will be more than 50 animal figures in this. Animatronics galore. This was going to be a big family ride, no height requirement. It looks like it will be possibly trackless or a new technology that they're really not talking a lot about, but they seem excited about. So I can't wait to see what they do with this ride. This has a lot of potential.
I'm excited for it too. And as predicted or hoped for, we did get to see those gorgeous woodworking figures for the carousel that they are doing. And this is El Carousel de los Animalitos, Carousel of Little Animals.
That's correct.
And there's going to be 22 unique features or unique animals on the carousel, and they are beautiful. I'm so excited to see them IRL. Like, I want to see all of that intricate woodworking.
Well, and we saw Eeyore, and we saw Hey Hey, and Pua, and
Kuzco?
Kevin.
Kevin.
It's going to be fun.
They're so fun. Oh my gosh, they are absolutely gorgeous. I can't wait to see them in real life.
Next up over at the Magic Kingdom is Carousel of Progress. This is known already because it just closed and will be closed until spring of 27. They are bringing in Bryan Cranston as the voice of John and Jamie Lee Curtis as the voice of Sarah. So we did not get those right, or we didn't get John right at least. We had thought maybe it was going to be, well, maybe Neil Patrick Harris or Tom Hanks.
Now we know Bryan Cranston from Breaking Bad, Malcolm in the Middle, and one of my very favorite movies, The Sheep Detectives. I don't know if you've seen that one, but if you haven't, do yourself a treat, like I said before. Do yourself a favor and go watch Sheep Detectives. It is brilliant and wonderful.
And Jamie Lee Curtis has been in everything from Trading Places to
A Fish Called Wanda, True Lies, Knives Out. Like, she's in everything. And for Disney, of course, she is in Freakier Friday, and most famously, Ellen's Energy.
Yep.
Where she is Stupid Judy. But you guys, I have to take a minute. Rod, I didn't tell you we were going to do this, but I have to take a moment because I finally put this together and I have not heard anyone talking about this. The scene that they showed, this is making me laugh, y'all. The scene that they showed from Carousel of Progress, the new art that they showed is the 80s, correct? So Jamie Lee Curtis was announced as the voice. As you know, they take us through holidays in Carousel of Progress. Jamie Lee Curtis is voicing Sarah. Sarah, for the first time ever, is seen front and center as the main figure instead of John. This is Halloween in the 80s, and Jamie Lee Curtis. She starred in the movie Halloween.
Oh,
you guys, this is hysterical. Why is nobody talking about this?
Brilliant.
Why is no one talking about this?
What?
I think it's awesome.
And the later Halloween series was produced by Miramax, which was Disney.
You guys, why is nobody talking about this?
That's funny.
Anyway, people are going to put this together. It's not just me, obviously, but this is hysterical, and I can't wait to see what they do. And if they hide some of the music in there, oh my gosh, that would be so funny. Some of the Halloween music. So anyway, excited to see what happens with that.
So a few of you may have noticed something from the Big Thunder Mountain queue going on behind a wall. I don't know. It's hard to see, but something apparently is happening in Frontierland at Magic Kingdom.
They're hiding it really well.
I hadn't noticed. Yeah, Piston Peak National Park is slowly rising where the Rivers of America and Tom Sawyer Island were, and we're getting Cars Ridge Run Rally. So we finally have a name for the new Cars attraction. It is not going to be a side-by-side race like it looked like in the very first artist conception. It is going to be a timed race, so you're still racing for time through the hills and mountains and valleys and ice-covered peaks of Piston Peak National Park. I love this concept still. I still miss the Rivers of America, but with all of the wooded sections they're putting in and everything, I am now a little more optimistic about how it's going to feel in Frontierland. It still doesn't fit Liberty Square, but it's going to fit Frontierland and the Thunder Mountain Range well. It's going to continue the Thunder Mountain look all the way through the national park. I like that.
I do too. I think it's going to be beautiful. And we know what that second attraction is now that we had speculated about. And it is, in fact, going to be a flat spinner ride, as predicted. But they're going with Miss Fritter's Daredevil Spin-Along. And if you've seen Cars 3, you know that she is the school bus figure who runs the, rally thing that happens, the demolition thing. So that'll be fun.
Yeah, this basically is a clone of Cars Road Rally at Disney Adventure World out in Paris. But I think it actually fits. We had talked about the possibility of maybe putting in more of a higher energy attraction. This one has a very small height requirement, so I think this is going to be a good fit for that land.
I do too. I agree.
One other thing that I had thought about being an ex-Disney World cast member from Magic Kingdom is that they're probably going to go ahead and extend for the first time the utilidors, because they're going to need a way for cast members to get from where the utilidors end under Liberty Square at the Hall of Presidents over to Villains Land and to Piston Peak without compromising the storyline. There is not room for them to walk backstage from Haunted Mansion around. That's all swamp. So I'm thinking they're going to go from near what is labeled as Stairway 4 over by the Hall of Presidents and continue that underneath Liberty Square and come out the bottom of the old Liberty Bell, so the lower level of the Liberty Bell platform. And that's already there, so they just have to connect a very short distance and then build it directly into the show building for Piston Peak.
I wonder if that's part of what the construction that's happening is.
Oh, it would have to be. They'd have to lay that down first.
Yeah, that wouldn't be an afterthought.
Yeah.
Hopefully they're thinking about that.
So just a thought. That was never announced, and it's more of a backstage thing, but after working at Disney World, I just thought maybe the Utilidors get an extension for the first time. I love that.
So if you are a Magic Kingdom cast member, let us know if that's going on.
Oh,
We're
please.
curious.
Yeah.
And speaking of wooded areas, they also thought about this transition because Piston Peak is now going to be the national park that is leading us into the Dark Forest, which is going to lead us into Villains Land. Now let's talk about Villains Land because I have some thoughts.
Why? Well, we warned you against this, Disney. You're supposed to listen to us. Villains Land.
Villains Land. They went with Villains Land.
Villains.
Now the logo is gorgeous. It is so pretty.
Oh, the font's amazing.
I love it. However, if you watched the live like we did, the beautiful, beautiful logo that they're showing for Villains Land, I kept waiting for it to morph into the real name. It never did. Instead, they just justified calling it Villains Land by saying every other land is already called something land. You know, like Main Street Land and like Liberty Square Land. Come on. That is just the laziest. You know what? You all know what I think of this already, so I'm just going to move on. I am excited that we got some details on the attractions coming. So, Rod, tell us a little bit.
Well, we know the Maleficent Coaster is going to go ahead. There was some speculation that maybe that was going to change to something around Cusco and Yzma and Emperor's New Groove. That is not going to happen. They're going with the original concept that you saw in the artist conception, where it's a roller coaster, high-energy roller coaster, as they put it, through the thorns and thickets and the castle that has been pushed up into a mountain. This thing is going to be massive, by the way. Like a conjured mountain.
The train that they showed that you would be riding in looks like a dragon. So you're going to be like channeled into Maleficent's world or into her. I don't know what's going on, but I'm excited for it.
The second attraction is going to be an underworld boat ride. So this is actually something we kind of hypothesized a little bit when we talked about this in our episode for the rumors. This is going to be kind of like what's at Epic Universe with Monsters Unchained, where all of the other villains are going to have their moment in the sun, or in this case, moment in the darkness.
As told by the Magic Mirror.
I love that idea.
I do too. And some sort of boat ride.
Mm-hmm.
So, classic dark ride. Several villains were featured in the little artist rendering. So, we're not sure exactly who's going to make an appearance. But pretty excited about that. I think it has potential.
Although Glenn Close made a fantastic appearance as Cruella de Vil, she's definitely going to be part of this because she was one of the ones featured in the artist drawing that they showed, along with the Evil Queen and Dr. Facilier.
But Cruella, here's the thing. Like, she was one of those three that you just mentioned who were featured prominently. But on her exit, she said, "Now get to work on my ride." Now, was that just Glenn Close being funny? Was that just the writers going, okay, she should have her moment and we had Glenn Close available, so we used Cruella? Or is a Cruella attraction being teased? We don't know. I would love to see one.
Over at Disneyland, the new Coco ride is already under construction over behind the roller coaster in Pixar Pier. This is going to be a family boat ride, and it's going to be a flashback, of all things, into the land of the dead that is being remembered by McGill. I think that's a really odd concept.
I do too. Like, we normally get a ride that either tells us the story, like the Snow White dark ride, like the Alice in Wonderland dark ride, the Pinocchio dark ride. I've heard them called book report rides, where it literally is just giving you highlights of the story that we know. This one takes place a year after the original Coco, because they did announce that Coco 2 is coming. So they wanted to sort of give a little leeway for Coco 2 while they're doing this. But to make the whole ride a flashback, what is the point of that as opposed to just telling us the story of Coco? It's a weird concept. I'm going to go with it because I think it's going to be gorgeous. I love a boat ride. The
music and the colors and everything, because it will take place in the land of the dead, because it's part of Dia de los Muertos. I love the idea of the storyline on this. It's just a weird storytelling mechanism.
Agreed. I think it's a very odd. It almost reminds me of the Little Mermaid attraction, where we have Scuttle telling us the story of the Little Mermaid, as opposed to just showing us the story of the Little Mermaid. So maybe they're going that route. I don't know. Interesting, but I'm excited for it.
And again, no height requirement, so this will be another classic Disney boat dark ride.
Love it.
Looking forward to that.
And we are getting an Adventures Campus expansion, which we knew, and now we know that it is going to double in size, which is exciting. And the first part is going to be Infinity Defense, which will open in 2028. That is going to take you with the Avengers to battle Thanos across multiple worlds. They're promising some new tech in here. Excited to see what that's going to mean. Again, a little vague on that front as far as the announcement goes. So we're just going to kind of cross our fingers and hope for the best.
One of the things they talked about for the new tech is images will be projected from the perspective of the ride vehicle. So you as the participant going through filmed areas, perspective will change on the screen. So this is very similar to how they filmed The Mandalorian in what they call the volume. I'm looking forward to this. It's using video game technology.
I'm excited to see this.
That's a game changer for a film-based attraction.
If that's really what they're talking about, because that's what they were describing without saying it. So I'm curious if that really is what's going to play out. Also in 2028, we're going to see Stark Flight Lab open, which is going to be more new technology and courtesy of Iron Man, of course. So it's Stark Flight Lab. Excited to see what that's going to entail.
Just outside of that, we're getting some new entertainment back, and really old entertainment back, because over at World of Color, the original show is being updated and brought back in February of 2027. At Disneyland, Dreams Come True returns in February 2027 for the fireworks, and Magic Happens Parade will be coming back in summer of 2027.
And while we're over there, Avatar is still coming. They're still being super quiet about it. We got absolutely nothing about it, except that there is a gorgeous model of some kind of boat ride.
With the show building looking basically like what you saw in Avatar 2.
And we know nothing more than that. They
Yeah.
said nothing. We know nothing. There was just a beautiful model.
The boat did look like, though, it was the same as the Pirate Shanghai boats.
That
which
is
kind of gives you an
interesting.
idea of maybe the technology they're going to use, which would be great because it's very high capacity. So that would be nice to have over there.
Agreed.
But it doesn't fit California Adventure. So I'm still on the theory that eventually it's going to become Adventure World. That's just me.
I'm with you on
That's just
that.
me.
I think you might be right. Real briefly, we also, in Paris, we did get a sneak peek of the Lion King flume ride coming. We didn't get a name yet, but she did say we're going to welcome you into the Pride Lands, so hopefully they're going to go with Pride Lands and not Lion King Land. Oh, that's just...
Yeah, let's hope
anyway.
so. Also unannounced is a new day parade that'll be coming to Disneyland Paris in 2028.
Excited for that.
Yeah.
The current parade is great, but they've had it for 10 years, and it's time for something new.
Things that also were talked about internationally, Tokyo Disneyland, of course, is getting the new Space Mountain, and they're replacing Buzz Lightyear with Sugar Rush Sweet Rescue. Hong Kong Disneyland is also getting an Avengers Campus expansion with a Tower of Terror type ride.
It
This
looks
one
neat.
Looks fun.
Yeah, based on Stark again, so more Stark technology sweeping the world. And Shanghai was not mentioned at all, even though they have an anniversary coming up and have been talking about a next gate. So I think they're going to get their own special announcement at some point, so stay tuned.
And Spider-Man's roller coaster will be opening up sometime in the next year or so at Shanghai as well. So that actually just got topped off. They put the last piece in place just literally within the last few days.
Yeah, that looked neat. And movies coming out, I think everybody probably knows. Incredibles 3, Frozen 3, Princess Diaries 2, Coco 2, lots of sequels. But the one that blew my mind, Romy and Michelle's 2?
More Post-it notes.
Oh my gosh, that was a kick. Oh my gosh. At first I was like, is this real? Is this real? So anyway, excited for that. If you haven't seen the original one, go watch the original Romy and Michelle's. It's a good time. Let's talk about cruise ships real quick before we're done.
Yeah, the Disney Believe is one that's already been announced. We know now that Tinkerbell will be on the bow, Buzz and Woody will be on the stern, and Sue, you got it right. You want to make the announcement?
I did. Moana is not only going to be the lobby statue, but she will be joined by Pua and Heihei, just like we had speculated. Super excited about that. She's even in the exact pose I pictured her in. They mind my mind.
Yeah, it's weird.
I was excited about that. And they did confirm that there will be 13 ships in the fleet in the next several years. And 10/7, so October 7th, coming up in not very long, is going to be the big Believe announcement. Because we didn't get any more than what Rod just told you.
They did also mention that a new class of ships, because Believe will be the last of the Wish class, so there'll be a new class of ships that come out for the next 3 that are actually between the Wish class and the Dream class.
I love
I'm
that.
looking forward to that.
Several times it was mentioned, everything we're doing, we do for you. We have heard you. And I think this is in response to that same thing, that same philosophy. They are listening to us. They are, not Epcotian Adventure, but they are listening to the guests. They are listening to the fans. And they have heard people complain about the Wish class ship, that it is too big because they're used to that original Dream class ship. So I love that they are going sort of a mid-size instead of everyone who's going bigger and bigger and bigger, that they're listening to people and they're doing a mid-class ship. I love that.
So let's talk about some of the misses that didn't happen. Things that we thought might, that didn't, or we hoped might, like Disneyland's Third Gate. Disneyland Forward didn't even get mentioned.
Not even a clue.
There
Not
are
a
pictures
word.
of it on the convention center floor, but nothing got mentioned. It's very odd. There's so much infrastructure that still has to be built. The parking garage, the Harbor Boulevard Bridge. It's going to be several years, I think, maybe, probably during the next D23, that they really expand on that.
I think also the next one is where we are going to hear more about added land or added pavilion for World Showcase at Epcot. That was not mentioned at all, even though we'd heard lots of rumors in that direction. So I think the time's just not right. Epcot just got a big overhaul. We are getting the Spaceship Earth, and we are getting the Imagination. Those should be priority over fixing a World Showcase that's not broken. So
and the fabled Epcot Hotel was not mentioned. I think that may be something that comes down the road, but they don't want too much construction at Epcot right now because it just came out of a 5-year construction. I don't want to even call it a phase. It was a lifetime of construction. So I can see why that maybe got pushed down the road just a little bit.
Agreed.
Well, folks, that is the major announcements from D23 in 2026 about the parks and experiences, the cruise ships, especially on the experience side there. And let us know what you're excited about most. We are most excited about, I think, Figgy getting Dreamfinder back and Spaceship Earth getting some love. But we'd love to know what your thoughts are. Before we go, we always have to thank the Phoenicians. Thank you, Phoenicians.
Thank you, Phoenicians. And don't forget to rate, review, like, share, and subscribe. It really does help other people find us. You can find us on social media on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube, and wherever you listen to podcasts.
The Epcotian Adventure is a $1,000 brunch production and a proud gold member of D23. Thanks for joining us today for episode 163 of the Epcotian Adventure. I'm Rod.
And I'm Sue.
And we'll see you in line.
Bye.
Thank the Phoenicians.
Good girl, you saved us. Good girl.
I know where that's going at the end. Molly's going to be famous.
Molly, you're so good.